Stop spending $200 a season on 5 different garden sprays. If you have pests eating your plants right now, the secret is hiding right in your bathroom cabinet. In the next 10 minutes, I will show you 7 proven hydrogen peroxide hacks that turn a $1 bottle into the only garden spray you need. But using the wrong ratio on fungal disease will actually burn your leaves to a crisp. Wait until we get to use number 5. It is the $30 root rescue trick my grandmother used, and the one most gardeners skip completely. According to EPA Fact Sheet 00595, hydrogen peroxide is a registered biopesticide. We are talking $1 versus $200 a season. Gardeners have been doing this for decades. They just never knew the science behind why it worked. And one of these 7 replaces the single most expensive product on your shelf. Here's the thing. Uses 1 through 3 will handle the pests eating your plants right now. But use number 5. That's the secret that rescues sick roots and replaces the most expensive bottle on your shelf. We are starting with the use that works fast, because if you have pests right now, this is your first move. Picture this. You walk outside, the gnats have packed up and left, and you spent roughly $1 to get your garden back. Use number 1, the aphid killer. This is the 24-hour fix I just promised you. If you walk outside right now and your rose bushes look like they are hosting a bug convention, this is exactly what you mix tonight. No trip to the garden center required. Grab your 3% hydrogen peroxide, the $1 bottle from any pharmacy. Mix 1 part peroxide to 10 parts water in a clean spray bottle. That is it. 1 part to 10 parts. Grab a marker. Write it directly on the bottle if you have to. Now spray every single leaf, top and bottom. The bottom matters because that is exactly where aphids hide feed and lay their eggs. Quick note on safety. Once this 1 to 10 mix dries on the leaves, it is generally safe around dogs and grandkids. But keep the bottle itself locked away, just like you would with any garden product. Typically, within 24 to 48 hours, you will see soft-bodied insects start dying on contact. The peroxide oxidizes their exoskeleton. It literally dissolves the outer layer they need to survive. Here's why that matters for your food garden. It breaks down into water and oxygen after it does the job. 0 residue on your food. 0 toxicity to your soil. 0 harm to beneficial insects like ladybugs that land after the spray dries. Your plants do not even know it happened. That handles aphids. But what about the pest you cannot even see with your bare eyes until it is too late? Use number 2, spider mites. These are the invisible destroyers of your garden. By the time you see the fine webbing on your tomato leaves, they have already been feeding for weeks. Same 1 to 10 ratio. But the application that changes completely. With spider mites, you need to drench the entire plant. Not a light mist, a full, heavy soaking spray. Hit the stems, hit the leaf undersides, hit the soil line where they drop and reproduce. Do this every 3 days for 2 full weeks. I know that sounds like a lot, but spider mites reproduce every 3 to 5 days. The cycle matters because you are catching each new generation as they hatch before they can mature, lay eggs, and start the infestation all over again. 2 pests down, 5 uses to go. But use number 3 is the one people argue about in every gardening forum I have ever read. Use number 3, the fungus gnat and whitefly soil drench. These pests live in your soil, not on your leaves. Spraying the foliage does absolutely nothing because the larvae are underground eating your roots right now. So instead of spraying up, you pour the same 1 to 10 mixture directly into the soil. Soak the top 2 inches of soil completely. The hydrogen peroxide fizzes, you will see the bubbles, and that fizzing is the oxygen killing larvae on contact. It also aerates compacted soil, which is a bonus your plants will thank you for. That's it. Once a week for 3 weeks and the gnats are done. You will notice the difference by week 2. Fewer gnats flying around when you water, and your plants actually grow faster because the roots can finally breathe. If the infestation is severe, you can do it twice a week for the first week. Quick question. Which use are you trying first? Drop the number in the comments below. I read every single one. 3 pests handled with 1 single bottle. But the next 2 uses are where hydrogen peroxide saves the most money and where most gardeners get the ratio completely wrong. A viewer from Texas messaged me last week saying this exact next ratio saved her tomato bed after powdery mildew nearly wiped it out. So pay close attention here. Use number 4, the fungicide. Powdery mildew, black spot, leaf blight. If your plants look like someone dusted them with flour, this is your fix. And this is where the ratio changes. For fungal disease, you go stronger. 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 5 parts water. 1 to 5, not 1 to 10. Write that down because this is the ratio most people get wrong. The stronger concentration matters because fungal spores have a protective cell wall that is harder to break than soft-bodied insects. A 1 to 10 mix will not cut it here. You need that extra strength. Spray the affected leaves until they are dripping. Hit every white patch you can see and do not forget the stems. The peroxide penetrates the fungal cell wall and destroys it from the inside. You will typically see the white patches start browning within 48 hours. That means the mildew is dying. Repeat once a week until the new growth comes in clean. And because it breaks down to water and oxygen, you are not adding chemicals to your edible garden. 1 bottle, 1 to 5 ratio. Replaces a $15 fungicide spray that does the exact same thing. But use number 5. This is the one that replaces the most expensive product on your shelf. Remember I said that in the first 30 seconds. If you are still here, you are about to learn the single use that saves more money than the other 6 combined. Do not skip ahead. The ratio for this one is different from everything else I have shown you, and getting it wrong kills your plant. Use number 5, Root Rot Rescue. This is the $30 replacement. Most gardeners buy expensive root treatment products, but hydrogen peroxide does the same job for pennies. Root rot happens when your soil stays too wet and anaerobic bacteria start eating the roots. For root rot, the ratio is 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 2 parts water. 1 to 2. This is the strongest mix we use and the one you need to get exactly right. Too weak and the bacteria survive. Too strong and you stress the roots even more. Remove the plant from the pot. Shake off as much of the old soil as you can and soak the entire root ball in the mixture for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, pull the plant out and look at the roots. Anything black and mushy gets trimmed with clean scissors. Dip those scissors in hydrogen peroxide first. Repot in fresh, dry soil and do not water for 3 days. Let the roots recover. The survival rate is surprisingly high when you catch it early. I have saved plants that looked completely dead using this exact method. My grandmother kept a bottle of peroxide in her garden shed. Every spring, she poured a capful into her watering can. She called it waking up the dirt. The science just caught up to what she already knew. The key is acting fast. Do not wait another week hoping it fixes itself. 5 uses done. 2 more to go, plus the 3 mistakes that turn all of this into a waste of time. And mistake number 1 is something almost every gardener does without thinking. Use number 6 seed soak and soil preparation. This is prevention. Instead of waiting for problems, you stop them before the first seed goes into the ground. Soak your seeds in a 1 to 10 hydrogen peroxide solution for 20 minutes before planting. The peroxide softens the seed coat, which speeds up germination. But more importantly, it kills any fungal spores or bacteria sitting on the surface of the seed. You are starting with a clean slate every single time. For soil prep, water your beds with the same 1 to 10 mix 1 day before planting. It sterilizes the top layer without killing the beneficial organisms deeper down. 6 uses from 1 bottle. But the 7th use is the one most gardeners completely forget about. And skipping it is how disease spreads from one plant to every plant in your garden. Use number 7 tool sanitizer. Every time you prune a diseased branch or pull an infected plant, the bacteria and fungal spores transfer to your pruning shears, your trowel, your gloves. Then you touch a healthy plant and the cycle starts all over again. Keep a jar of straight 3% hydrogen peroxide on your garden bench. After every cut, dip your tool in for 10 seconds. No dilution needed. For tools, 3% is safe on metal and strong enough to kill surface pathogens. This one habit prevents more disease spread than any spray ever will. 7 uses, 1 bottle. But here is where most people ruin everything. These 3 mistakes make hydrogen peroxide completely useless, and the first one is the most common. Mistake number 1. Using it undiluted. I see this advice everywhere online and it drives me crazy. Do not do it. Pouring straight 3% hydrogen peroxide on your plants can burn the leaves. You will typically see brown spots within hours that look worse than the pest damage you are trying to fix. The concentration is too high for living plant tissue. Always dilute. Dilution is not optional. It is the entire point of making this work. Mistake number 2. Spraying in direct sunlight. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down in UV light within minutes. If you spray at noon on a sunny day, much of it is already turning to plain water before it even reaches the pest. You are literally watching your effort evaporate. Always spray in early morning or late evening when the sun is low. Overcast days work great too. The goal is to give the peroxide enough contact time to do its job before UV destroys it. Mistake number 3. Using an old bottle. Hydrogen peroxide loses potency over time, especially once you break that seal. That bottle sitting in your bathroom cabinet for 2 years is probably just water by now. Here is a quick test. Pour a small amount on a cut potato. If it fizzes, it is still good. If nothing happens, throw it out. Buy fresh, keep it sealed in a cool, dark place, and replace it every 6 months after opening. Those 3 mistakes are the difference between this working and this being a complete waste of your time. Now you know all 7 uses and all 3 mistakes. One more thing before you go, and this might be the most useful part of the entire video. Grab a pen, write this down. Let me make this really simple. Here are your 3 ratios. 1 to 10 for pests: aphids, spider mites, fungus gnats, whiteflies. That covers uses 1 through 3, and use 6 for seed soaking. 1 to 5 for fungal disease, powdery mildew, black spot, leaf blight. That is use 4. And 1 to 2 for root rot, the emergency rescue ratio. That is use 5. And it replaces the most expensive product on your shelf. Undiluted. For tool sanitizing, only use 7. 7 uses, 3 ratios, $1 bottle that replaces over $200 in garden products every single season. And remember EPA fact sheet 00595, registered hydrogen peroxide as a biopesticide, not a home remedy, a registered biopesticide. When your neighbor walks over and asks why your garden looks that good this year, you can tell them $1. That is the whole secret. If this $1 bottle worked for you, the first link in the description below leads to the one video I'd want every new gardener to watch next. It's the 25-cent kitchen spray that handles whatever the peroxide misses. You have the ratios now. Go protect those roots. Happy gardening!